Good evening and welcome to tonight's launch. I completely forgot that I had to click start streaming on the panel. On the left hand side of your screen, you can see the launch timeline. I'm going to explain that for you. You can see one of the events are highlighted in yellow. That means that it is upcoming. When we switch to another event, one will be highlighted orange, and then another one will be highlighted yellow, and one more will be highlighted red. Red means it has already happened. Orange means it's currently happening or has just happened, and yellow means it's upcoming. We are now T-minus 54 seconds until launch, and we are going to continue with the launch. They have been giving the official go for launch, and we are now just awaiting the launch. I am now on open mic so that I don't need to hold down a button for the entire launch. 15 seconds until the final launch of Ariane 5. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Main engine ignition. And liftoff, the final liftoff of Ariane 5 for the Heinrich Hertz satellite and Syracuse mission. Go Ariane 5. T plus 30 seconds into flight, Ariane 5 performing nominally. We are now awaiting for booster separation. Shortly upcoming is maximum aerodynamic pressure, or max Q. Ariane takes to the skies on its final flight, spreads its engines for the final time. One minute, 3 seconds into flight, Ariane performing nominally. On your screen, this is a live view of the Ariane 5. Syracuse 4B launch. And we have Ariane 5 trajectory is nominal. T plus 1 minute 53 seconds into flight, approaching booster burnout. I should have done this beforehand, but I'm changing this to 1080p. Booster separation, approaching nominal trajectory on Ariane. It's booster burnout. Booster separation has now occurred. And those are the boosters separating. The final Ariane 5 boosters have separated from Ariane 5. The Vulcan engine from Ariane 5 continuing on. Awaiting fairing deploy. And we have fairing separation on Ariane 5. Ariane 5, 130 kilometers in altitude, 260 kilometers downrange. It is now going 2,000 kilometers. Sorry, 200 kilometers. Correct. Sorry, 2.6 kilometers per second. Jeez. That's 200 meters per second. Sorry, 2,000 meters per second. I cannot think tonight. 4 minutes, 30 seconds into flight. Ariane 5 performing nominal, 165 kilometers in altitude, 400 kilometers downrange, 2.9 kilometers per second. Ariane 5 performing nominally at T plus 5 minutes, 30 seconds into flight. Ariane 5 is nearly 200 kilometers in altitude, nearly 600 kilometers downrange, and 3.5 kilometers per second. 3.5 kilometers a second. 3,500 meters per second. T plus 7 minutes and 42 seconds into flight. Ariane 5 is now 235 kilometers in altitude, 1,140 kilometers downrange. It is going 5.7 kilometers per second. And we have stage separation on Ariane 5. We have second engine start. Ariane 5 continues to perform nominally 8 minutes, 57 seconds into flight. Nine 9 minutes 42 seconds into flight. 9 minutes 42 seconds into flight. Ariane 5 performing nominally at 232 kilometers in altitude, 1,920 kilometers downrange, 6.9 kilometers per second. The rocket is beginning to level off and to be injected into its low Earth orbit. Ariane 5 continues to be performing nominally at 222 kilometers in altitude, 2,500 kilometers downrange, at 7.1 kilometers per second. Minutes into flight, Ariane 5 performing nominally 208 kilometers in altitude, 3,246 kilometers downrange, and 7.35 kilometers per second in speed. T plus 16 minutes into flight. Ariane 5 continues to perform nominally. 190 kilometers in altitude, 4,575 kilometers downrange, with a speed of 7.8 kilometers per second. We are now 19 minutes 40 seconds into the launch. Ariane 5, 222 kilometers in altitude, 6,322 kilometers downrange, and 8.4 kilometers per second in speed. Ariane-5, 2T plus 21 minutes and 22 seconds. Ariane-5 is now traveling at... correction. Ariane-5 is traveling at 283 kilometers in altitude. And we'll wait for this to see the rest. 289 kilometers in altitude, 7,239 kilometers downrange, and 8.8 kilometers per second. Ariane-5 trajectory... I'm going to try that one again. The Ariane-5 trajectory is nominal. The second stage engine continues to fire. And we are now T plus 22 minutes, 3 seconds into flight. And we are going to listen into the live stream while I will be right back.
À travers cette présidence, Vernon mettra évidemment l'espace et tous les acteurs de la filière du spatial et de l'aéronautique au cœur du débat, avec des objectifs très simples, comme la valorisation de la dimension spatiale de notre territoire, valoriser également le campus de l'espace, site qui est le berceau de notre histoire aéronautique vernonaise. Valoriser aussi le savoir-faire et la haute technologie des entreprises du territoire. En somme, valoriser l'attractivité de Vernon.
European space exploration has been part of this city's DNA for half a century. It is in the Ariane Group factory in Vernon that the new engines of Ariane-6 are currently being designed, as are all the engines in previous Ariane launches.
Ariane Group et la ville ont un lien indéfectible depuis des dizaines et des dizaines d'années. Le site de Vernon est d'une grande importance, une importance stratégique pour l'accès à l'espace. 1946, 50 ingénieurs allemands spécialistes des missiles V2 arrivent à Vernon et contribuent à créer le LRBA, qui se spécialisera par la suite dans la conception, la fabrication et les essais des moteurs fusées. En 1971, l'activité moteur-fusée du LRBA est intégrée à la Société européenne de propulsion pour devenir par la suite Ariane Group. Véronique, Vesta, Vexin, Valois, Viking, Vulcain et Vinci sont autant de noms dont le V rappelle qu'ils sont nés à Vernon.
A summer university for Ariane cities, an event dedicated to Ariane 5's last flight, and even a space-themed fireworks display. Throughout the year, the city of Vernon is organizing a rich program of events inspired by the colors of the community of Ariane cities.
I love how he listed the name of all the engines beginning with the V. And during that film, we had confirmation there that we entered the sphere of the tracking station in Malindi on the east coast of Africa. So they've now taken over monitoring events from Libreville. 24 minutes and 15 seconds into the flight. Raphael, we're getting closer now to switching off our engine.
Yes, in order to prepare the separations of our first satellite, H2sat, so it's important to do it on time in a very precise way.
Ariane-5 is now 500 kilometers in altitude, 8,700 kilometers downrange, and 9.39 kilometers per second in speed. The Ariane-5 is somewhere over Central Africa and is continuing to travel east. And we have seen second engine cutoff of Ariane-5, and that is the final Ariane-5 mission.
Extinction de l'état supérieur cryotechnique.
So the DDO confirmed that it got successfully cut off that upper stage.
Début de la manœuvre d'orientation au profit de Heinrich Hertz satellite.
And he's announced the beginning of the orientation maneuvers for Heinrich Hertz satellite. So really getting now into the next phase of the journey, preparing to separate our two satellites from the mothership. Right now, without the engine, we are coasting in the coast phase, which we often call the ballistic phase, which means, I believe, that we are traveling without power. And we're on trajectory.
Yep.
Final update for Ariane-5, T plus 26 seconds, 4 seconds into flight. Ariane-5 traveling at 699 kilometers in altitude and very quickly rising at it is traveling downrange distance from the French Guiana is 9,037 kilometers. Sorry, 9,685 kilometers, and it is traveling at a speed of 9.26 kilometers per second.
Geostationary orbit, which is around the equatorial plane.
And the people monitoring all of these operations are actually in a telemetry center on a hillside just behind the Mission Control Center. We call it here the CVI, which is the sort of French acronym for real-time visual control, and they're getting all the information there.
Yeah. So the team here are receiving the data from the tracking stations. So they check the status of the launcher in real time, especially regarding the propulsion, the guidance, and the trajectory. Most of the data is not analyzed in real time. It's analyzed offline by dedicated teams in the days and weeks following the launch. So that's why we also constantly improve our knowledge of the launcher. Let me remind you that the success rate of Ariane-5 is 98%.
Yes, a very good success rate. Going through a very specific set of maneuvers here, orientation maneuvers. Once we release our satellites, they've got a long journey ahead. They've got to get to their final orbital slot. That's 36,000 kilometers above the Earth. We call that geostationary orbit. And in order for them to be able to do that, we have to set them off on their journey properly and to their exact position and orientation in space.
Absolutely. Actually, each satellite has its own set of requirements for being released into space in very specific conditions. For example, for an enriched Hertz satellite, we need to release the spacecraft such that it is slightly rotating on itself at a speed of 2 degrees per second. You know, like a barbecue spit. We can see on the animation that the upper stage
La phase
is...
balistique se poursuit nominalement.
He's telling us that the ballistic phase is going normally.
Exactly. So the upper stage is slightly spinning.
Ariane 5 is now 1,130 kilometers in altitude, 10,700 kilometers downrange, and 8.95 kilometers per second in speed. We are now awaiting the separation of the Heinrich Hertz satellite. And there we have it. The H2 Heinrich Hertz satellite has been released. And we are waiting confirmation.
Séparation Heinrich Hertz satellite confirmée.
And we have...
And that is the confirmation of the Heinrich Hertz satellite. Now Ariane 5 will be reorienting itself for the separation of the Syracuse 5 satellite. Correction, Syracuse 4B satellite. Correction, we are awaiting the separation of the SILDA black structure around the Ariane 5 satellite, around the Syracuse 4B satellite, which will separate shortly. And there's the separation of Silda confirmed. We are now awaiting the separation of Syracuse 4B. Just awaiting confirmation of the Syracuse 4B satellite separation. And there the command has been sent. And Syracuse 4B satellite has been confirmed. The separation has been confirmed. Ariane 5 at T plus 33 minutes 55 seconds. The final mission of the Ariane 5 has been completed. That's going to be marking the end of our program today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.